Coming from the Truspace, we ain't entertaining neighbors. I don't give a fuck what you say. Found the universal coochie, planting seeds and birds fruit. Now I'm really looking juicy. Welcome to the Truspace. Yeah, bitch, welcome to the Truspace. Welcome to the Truspace. Yeah, bitch, welcome to the Truspace.
Welcome to Truspace. I'm your astrology open book. And let's get into this Jupiter and Pisces transit because it's going to be some shit. Guaranteed going to be some shit. Jupiter's coming into the end of its cycle. Coming up, and it's crazy. I'm a Jupiter in Aries. So it's like coming into the end of the cycle that's kind of started like when I was born, the end of the millennia type of deal, and the expansion that has been going on through then. But then wait, it's been in Pisces since then, so it's doubled on up. But still, Jupiter's coming on to that end of that transit, and we're coming into the ultimate experience where we're kind of assimilating all of the previous Jupiter transits and the experience and knowledge and meaning and wisdom that we have extracted from them, and now it's kind of like embedded into our subconscious. That's what happens when whatever planet gets to Pisces or to the end of the line. Everything's kind of embedded into the subconscious and enters that realm of creativity where we can mend things, or we can dive in and become less physical in, aka our memories and all of those aspects, our subconscious mind, our feelings and emotions, those aspects. So that's what we're going to start to experience, really experiencing that subconscious mind and all of the experiences that have built up through that whole Jupiter transit, Aries through Pisces, and how that's playing out now. And it's going to be some motherfucking shit. But this is lucid experiences when we're talking about Jupiter and Pisces. That's what you will experience, and that's what you're gonna trying to draw meaning from, meaning and wisdom from these lucid experiences that you have, and how to mitigate things, and you're gonna have to learn how to navigate that. Your subconscious mind. You're gonna have to learn how to navigate your emotional realm when blended in with everybody else's, and look at the reality we're living in, where that is less definitely being forced, where niggas is fighting for their beliefs. Whether it's grounded in anything. They're really willing to fight with that, and to try and be persuasive and make you believe what they believe is correct, whether they have the experience and knowledge and wisdom to back up their beliefs that they have. So if you don't have a strong sense of self, if you don't have the openness to go through experiences and to see for your goddamn self, and to not regurgitate information that you hear, but to actually take things in and assimilate it in your mind in the fashion that you learn best, and incorporate it into your being, and then you can articulate it with your own words, then you don't need to really worry about that type of shit. Or that's the type of energy that you need to foster and perpetuate and really take care of, and protect this transit. Protect your fucking energy, protect your spirit with this Jupiter in transit, because that's what they're trying to expand into. That's what they're trying to and get you to expand into, give your faith to. And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about Jupiter. It's where you're giving your faith to. And where you're giving your faith to is what you experience. And then what you experience is how you draw meaning and reasoning from the world around you, and how you develop wisdom. So that's Jupiter in its essence, and it's funny. Um, yeah, that's how faith works, and Jupiter is your third eye. You see, with all the chakras, fucking, I'm even wearing this shit right now. All of your chakras correlate to the planets. They was thinking that the Eastern niggas was talking about something else, but we've always been talking about the same thing. We're still always talking about the same thing that we was talking about 50 years ago, 100 years ago. It's the same thing, same themes keep on reoccurring, because we live in an environment that Sun always goes around the 12 zodiac constellations. We're experiencing these transits over and over. But with the chakras, we have different interpretations and words. Once people start, this is where you have to learn vibes and why that shit's really important. Because niggas be getting lost in Aries and shit like that in the constellation, and then you hear some astronomer who doesn't know about anything, Neil deGrasse Tyson, Bill Nye, people who don't know a goddamn thing about astrology, talking about how because there's Ophiuchus, there's 13 signs and everything's moved up, and then that means astrology is invalid. Who said that that's the structure of what astrology was based off of? Where's the astrologer that you consulted when you were talking about that shit? Do you have any astrologers in NASA at all? Dumb motherfuckers. And then y'all niggas just measuring where shit is and not what it means or how it impacts you in your life, but more so on that objective side. And like that is not a part of astrology. But anyways, getting onto that chakra stuff. With the 7 visible planets that we can see within ourselves, within here on Earth, it's kind of manifested into our bodies. You can look at the planets as the chakra systems of the being that we live in, the solar system, which is just a being on a higher level and aspect, but it lives a life just as real as you and mine. Same thing with your blood cells on a micro to macro, on a lower to a higher level. It's the same thing where your blood cells and your skin cells and your proteins and all of that. Them niggas go to the bar. Those niggas have dates and shit like that. They go to school and do all of that type of shit. But because you're so stuck in your human mind and the experiences that you have experienced and how your perspective of dates and shit like that, just even on that level. And see, I'm telling you, it goes on to micro levels and then and macro levels once you start talking about truths. And once you start talking about astrology and these things, nobody was just drawn on anything. And then you can tell if it's something is true. If it does ring true in all instances and circumstances, then you know the shit's motherfucking true. But yeah, you start seeing those patterns. But what I was getting on with the chakras, um, talking about how the 7 visible planets and how all of that makes up the body of the solar system that we are in, and that all energy and influence and going in is what creates the environment that we have on earth, and what creates the seasons in our bodies and everything in nature and reality is kind of mimicking those exterior influences, because their influences are super strong. These things are giant. um, um, it's crazy. Just water alone. I'm gonna get into that. But when you were talking about the chakras, when the Eastern niggas was talking about, it was nothing different. But the 7 visible planets, it's the same shit. And so it would be the 7th chakra would be Saturn. How you govern yourself, and the opening, and then Saturn kind of has a large role in the solar system. We're kind of following it, or its gravitational pull has a lot more influence in swaying the solar system than one may think. And then we have fucking Jupiter, your third eye chakra, right? Your third eye chakra would be Jupiter, your insight. It's like your inner type of ability to see. And how do you even develop insight? And what are these things? What happens when you are seeing, even with your eyes, and it expands to that too on the physical level, but also into the more energetic seeing that you would experience, aka your memories, aka your imagination, when you're closing your eyes and you're trying to piece together pictures and stuff like that, which is severely underdeveloped in our generation because of all of the aided visuals that we have to go through and stuff like that, that we don't, imagine things or develop things, or project our imaginative landscape and the world around us. We rather create an imaginary la land and then jump into that shit and stay there, but not take that down and try and use that creativity or make this physical reality mimic that in some sort of way, bring down the creativity that we have sparked within that realm of reality, and bring it into fruition down here. But with Jupiter and Pisces, that's exactly what needs to be done. Lucid experiences. And we're going to have to come into a mastery of the subconscious energy, or it will wash us the fuck out. And it is evident in what is going on right now. Look how flunked out everybody is with all of the shit going on, and how it's all based off of belief. In this next year to come, 2022, with Jupiter and Pisces, we're going to experience a hell of a lot of uh, people really giving faith to their beliefs, and really that expansion into that realm of reality, their creativity, imagination, and spirituality and belief systems, everything that is within their subconscious mind. They're going to be expanding into it whether they're aware of it or not. So if they're not aware, and they don't have this awareness, and they don't have the honesty of self, that is imperative when you're dealing with Jupiter energy. When you're going to expand into something, you have to be honest with yourself and see, is this right for you? You, because you can expand into some bullshit. You can learn and gain wisdom and knowledge onto some bullshit. You can go through some bullshit experience and learn how to deal with some dumb shit. You know how to heal a mended heart after a breakup. You know what? The nigga was giving you red flags for the beginning, and you shouldn't have went out with him. But now you know how to handle a douchebag. Yeah, good for you. Yeah, but isn't the goal in life not to deal with douchebags? So what the fuck are you gonna do with this information if you're just gonna not talk to the douchebags and try and find a good guy? You get what I mean? So make the most out of your experiences and draw the. You can't necessarily control everything like that, but be aware and honest with yourself that you can experience and expand and gain wisdom and knowledge into some bullshit, into some shit that doesn't really help you, into some shit that's not really even grounded into reality, or it's not even available for you anymore. And comfort is a great enemy to expansion, because once you're comfortable, and this is that whole dynamic between Cancer and why Jupiter is exalted in Cancer, fucking the fourth sign, it's that box. Cancer is your home. Cancer is your home, your private space. And when Jupiter's exalted there, it's because you can expand. It's easy to expand into places where you're comfortable. It's easier to expand, and because Cancer's the changeable and the moody nature of the moon, and how it goes really fast and through the cycles, and how it's really powerful, you go through a lot of emotional experiences that build wisdom and knowledge, or that you experience things, so you have a lot of wisdom and knowledge emotionally and shit like that. But if you're a flunked out ass Cancer, you're gonna have a lot of wisdom and knowledge into some bullshit, because you're constantly catching feelings into things, and you don't know how to. You don't feel safe and secure within yourself. You don't know how to be comfortable with the uncomfortable, or comfortable with change, because once those comfortabilities are taken, you're all flunked out, and you don't know what to go and do. But that's the reality of life. That's the reality of the moon. Your fucking cardinal sign. I don't know the fuck you think was going on. But with Jupiter, when I'm saying how it's exalted in Cancer, with that box, that comfort zone, and then you add the planet of expansion into comfort, it will expand into the amount or the space that is available within that box, within that realm of reality that is comfortable and that is suitable to you. If you're diving too deep into that energy, and look at what that is. If you're attaching too much emotion and water, or with that Cancer energy, into your meanings, reasonings, and experiences and stuff like that. When we're talking about Jupiter, you need to balance it with a little bit of fire, which is the active element, which means you have to actually feel and go through these things, and not just stay in that reflective, wanting to intake things, but wanting to take action and push out some energy, so that you can have that ricochet of your energy reflected back on you, so you can have a better understanding. But then you're just going to stay in your box and have less information, stay in that square. And that's a dangerous spot to be in when you're adding too much water, and that's why it's exalted in Cancer. But with this Jupiter and Pisces transit, you can be sure that people are going to fight you for their beliefs. People are, because this is what they're expanding, and they're going to be talking about some nonsense. Majority of the time, look at what's fucking going on, and they're going to believe it beyond all doubt, because this is where they're directing their faith into. Before, when Jupiter was in Aquarius, you can see it being played out in the world already. They're giving their faith to information networks and stuff like that, and it was all about uh, with Aquarius, giving your faith to what's best for what's everybody, and that's what everybody was directing their faith into, and that's what they were fighting for and expanding into. And if you weren't about expanding in a team like effort where you were thinking about the good of everybody, aka you were trying to start a business, but you weren't following the rules and protocols that everybody else is doing and stuff like that, you weren't on the described teamwork agenda type esque, then you weren't able to expand, or expansion was made hard for you. If you were going about it within their realm of reality and you're using their tarot cards and shit like that and trying to expand into their structures and buildings and stuff like that. But if you're going through these transits and seeing it, well, you can see everybody getting onto it, but how are you going to use these transits and shit like that? So you could have been giving your faith to expanding your information network, to diversifying it into um, building wisdom and knowledge through different channels and avenue, by growing your social network, by actually looking at things a little bit detached, stepping it away from your feelings and how you initially feel about things, and looking at just the plain facts and getting into that state of being where you're downloading knowledge. If you don't feel, see, this is evident of what I'm talking about. Everybody who is well, not maybe everybody, but most people who haven't done that and are against that are well informed and have undergone the downloads of a fucking generation, of a fucking decade, in terms of information, medical information, knowledge of their body, knowledge of the government, knowledge of self, knowledge of the corruption that is going on in the world. They have really gained a large amount of information where you can't really even dupe these people. Everybody knows shit's bullshit now, and there's all of these sources that you go to that prove that all of this shit is bullshit. So it's like they really experience having their own individual mind, their own fixed space. You know, they already created, they expanded into their own type of social networks, and now there's alternatives that we can jump into that don't follow that mainstream narrative, that don't try and get you to give faith to their interpretation of what is best for humanity, their interpretation of what is most logical. You have a space that you can foster, and that you can choose whether to give your faith into a different avenue, and be rewarded with teamwork makes the dream work, and be rewarded with experiencing that you are not alone in that information warfare, that you are not alone in the information that you have shared, and that you can talk about these things, and that makes you a very unique individual, and that you belong to a larger whole. You know what I mean? Whether it be, large scale, like other, journalists and information outlets, whether you finding that and connecting with that community, or feeling a sense of community by watching those things, or you literally just gaining friends in your life that you can communicate with on a more comfortable level, where you can that intellectually stimulate you, or present you with information that really add. Teamwork makes the dream work. You guys are on that type of wave. And then if you're using that Jupiter and Aquarius energy to the benefit for us. But now with Jupiter going into Pisces, where we're going into the subconscious mind and the beliefs. So but the people who were giving their faith away, weren't basing off of their experiences and meanings and wisdom, and they were giving their faith into other things outside of themselves, out of their justifications, and faith and information networks doesn't get tied back to them and their experience with this information network. Everything that that they're quoting or giving their faith to happen without them. They didn't see this happen. They don't even fully know the story that goes on. Those are the people that are flunked out with the Jupiter and Aquarius energy, where they didn't expand or give their faith into the positive side of Aquarius, that contemplative energy, that getting that cold hard truth type energy, and they got lost into the over logical. Oh, this seems like it would work, or this is what is being told. This is the structures that are in place. It means it's more logical to do this because we're gonna have to dismantle a whole bunch of things, or it's going to cause a whole bunch of other problems if we don't. So it's actually most logical because they understand with the type of knowledge that is coming out right now, that the type of infrastructure change that's gonna. We don't believe in the government anymore. Nobody believes in that shit, or at least nobody. It's not that you don't believe in it. It's like obviously there's people and shit that work into that shit, and just the fact that some people would get jarred at me saying that that's not real and not see the truth in it shows how deep and flunked out that you already fucking are, and not being able to see the truth of what somebody else is saying, that you're trying to draw something out, or that it's programmed, planted seed within you for what reason. But it's not that the government's not real. Obviously people work in the fucking government, but at the top, the level of corruption is evident. It cannot be overlooked, and you can't just turn a blind eye to these things, and then when it starts to affect your reality, you know now you're all shocked. Now you're all like, what the fuck is going on, and all of this type of shit. But they understand that it's going to cause way more of an infrastructure change if they gave lenience on people who think like us, people who are more free thinking, or they're not participating in their rituals and spells, and they're trying to utilize these planetary energies for themselves and not trying to expand their networks, not trying to expand whatever they're trying to use Jupiter for, but using Jupiter for your goddamn self, your own personal planetary magic, and stop participating in these rituals and shit like that. But they don't want that. They don't want that, and trying to find all different types of ways to intrigue you and to force you to participate into their energy, to make you want to expand and give faith into their Aquarius energy. So if you're flunked out, moving into Pisces, the information that you have gotten, the sources and friends and contacts that you have, the sources of information that you have, and that you get things from, are going to implant subconscious beliefs in your mind that may not be level up to reality. What is the opposite of Pisces? The opposite sign of Pisces? Virgo, which is mutable earth. What's practical? What makes sense? What actually works out? What actually ends up having practical value. Capricorn is the blueprint. You're drawing up the business. You're planning it. You're seeing what works and what doesn't work. You're managing your resources and what things you have. You're figuring shit out. Taurus is you're working. You're receiving. You're in that stable aspect. You're looking for. You're fixated on what you want, on what needs to be done. And then with Virgo, so Capricorn is planning the business. Taurus is getting the work done, the product, the thing that actually has value, the worth that you have and that you hold, the talent that you possess, the thing that you are able to produce, the thing that you have that you are able to give out, and that represents your worth or your self-value or the talent that you have. And then Virgo is the market, the trading place, that how it makes sense and how it's practical use within the world. Where can it be sold? What application does that product have, and how would people use it? That's the Virgo energy that we're dealing with. So when Jupiter is opposite of Virgo, and we're talking about in Pisces, and it's comfortable in Pisces. It's comfortable as fucking Pisces. So it's going to be easy to expand and give your faith into mirages, illusions, mist that's in front of you, that is taking shapes and images and forms, but when you grab out and go and touch it, it's not real. It dissolves into your hands. But a lot of people are so wrapped up in the imagination, not even considering, so comfortable in the mist, so comfortable within that realm of reality, that they don't reach out and go and touch it, and that they entertain these illusions and as if they're real. And when somebody prompts them to go and touch them, they're like, no, no. I want to keep this illusion, this mist. I want to keep this feeling and emotion, this vibration. I want to stay in there. And you want to expand more into it. You want to indulge into it. So that is very dangerous, for a person to go through. Those are the polar opposites of this transit. One side is like complete spiritual awakening, where you are experiencing your subconscious, and most people are afraid because they're like, oh, my subconscious makes me or I'm subconsciously afraid of blah 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 blah, and things that are so bad, things that are within your subconscious. But it's all the things that are true to you. And if you really want to make that positive change in your life, you're going to want to have access to that information. That is the data, the files that's going to allow you to understand your mind and develop the algorithm that sufficiently organizes things in your mind. So you can't run away from your subconscious mind. Whether it be negative things or positive things, it's going to help you see the direction that you need to expand to. You need this experience, or else there would be no Pisces, there would be no Jupiter transit Pisces. You're meant to experience this type of shit. That's why you're fucking here during this time, during this transit, to experience your subconscious mind and to really face the feelings and emotions that you may not have been giving heed to, and all the information. And man, we don't realize how much we experience on the low, how much we see on the low. You just walking in the fucking store, all the shit that you see has a whole bunch of titles and colors and pictures and shit like that. You just fucking downloaded. Walking down a motherfucking aisle, fucking thousands, just walking down a fucking grocery store. You've read thousands of words and images and seen a whole bunch of things, but we don't account that and don't think that because it's not within our conscious mind, we don't think that we recorded or access any of that. All of that shit is in your subconscious. And then once you start realizing that shit, one, you're gonna start going to you're gonna stop loving the supermarket as much, and not even just the supermarket, but just what you experience. You're going to be more diligent in what you experience, because you're starting to realize that, oh shit, all of this is building up into my subconscious mind, whether I was conscious of it, whether I came up with some type of justification, meaning a reasoning bullshit, self-righteous answer to justify why I did this action and why I'm doing into it. Whatever it may be, you're going to experience it. Whether you were conscious of it at the time and forgot, whether what everything is recorded into the subconscious. Everything is recorded into, and then you can look at Pisces as your fluid, and the fluid that we all kind of go into, the vibe of a room. When things are awkward, you can tell, you can feel that in the room. We are energetic beings. You have an aura, an electromagnetic field that pulsates around you. But we're not necessarily talking about your individual electromagnetic field when we're talking about Pisces, your individual aura just alone, but it's how your aura interacts with the surroundings around you, whether it be your environment or people, places, and things. That type of shit. But yeah, that's basically this Jupiter and Pisces transit and how it's going to how we're going to experience it. Some of the major aspects that we're gonna have to go through, some of the major aspects that we're gonna be hit by within this transit. Jupiter in Pisces is going to square the North Node in Gemini, which is very interesting. This is experiencing your beliefs and dreams frustrate and cause a learning experience with your spiritual path. So take in, North Node's been in Gemini for a minute, and what has been on the attack, and it's crazy when we're talking about this Jupiterian energy, because we've really been going through it, and especially with that comfortability aspect, with the comfortability of giving faith. That's not random. That's not just something that's just innate with people. The South Node was in Sagittarius, the planet of optimism, the planet of belief and stuff like that. People were or the sign or zodiac of those aspects of self-righteousness. And that's what the south node was. South node, our past, our comfortabilities, what we are familiar with, an area where we could get stuck in because of our familiarity and where we were at. So that's an energy that we were comfortable with. So when I'm talking about this Jupiterian energy and how people are giving faith to a whole bunch of bullshit, and why is that so prevalent right now? Well, look at the transit. Look at what's going on right now. We have Sagittarius, um, or the South Node in Sagittarius. But with Jupiter and Pisces squaring the North Node, so it's squaring the South Node too. But with Jupiter squaring the North Node, this is why it's going to, because we're going to experience our subconscious mind. So, what we were with the North Node in Gemini, our spiritual path was applauding us to really dive into the truth. The initial truth, not the truth that comes on later after the snowball picks up later on in the seasons we go through. No, the first initial truths that we see, and to start diving on to the first initial communications that we have to really just communicate and to talk and to understand that aspect within ourselves and how to use that for our spiritual path, to understand how we communicate, how we think, and to really organize our minds so that we can be quick witted, so that we can be quick with it and on our feet and be able to respond to things, be able to handle multiple topics of things, be able to be versatile in thought, and really entertain a whole bunch of truths and be able to take in that information and piece things together later. But when you're experiencing the subconscious mind, when you're experiencing everybody's feelings and emotions with Jupiter and Pisces, it kind of creates friction of you collecting the first initial truths, because you're getting hit with energy that may distort that first initial truth. Because Jupiter and Pisces, you're feeling different types of energy or different types of feelings and emotions, and you may be swayed because you're in the mist. Because you're in the mist. The mist isn't there yet. When we're talking about Gemini, it was Aries, Taurus, Gemini. We're talking about the spring season. We're talking about giving birth to things, the first initial response of things. And we can't talk about these later aspects. We can't talk about the fog and the feelings and emotions and the subconscious aspects that have built up until we talked about the facts. We have to go in order, just like the fucking sun. Just like the sun. The sun doesn't go backwards like all of these other shit, all the other planets. It's just going forward. And that's kind of how it has to be with that aspect. But with Jupiter and Pisces squaring the North Node, us experiencing that mist, us having that insight and expanding our faith into our beliefs, we're turning our ways from our spiritual path, or at least it's creating frustration with our spiritual path, because now we're open to persuasion. Now we're open to external influences and shit like that. When we should have been sharpening our minds, when we should have been communicating, and it's going to make us maybe retreat more interior because you're going off of your beliefs and stuff like that. You're not going to fully say these things out loud, because if you said all of the beliefs that you think out loud to other people, you would see that it was fucking stupid, and you're afraid of that, or it would create that type of friction. And that's why Jupiter and Pisces square in the North Node. But it's also going to give you, on the flip side, on the positive side, if you're on that side where you're using this energy to your benefit, you experiencing the subconscious mind is going to maybe show you the subconscious aspects that led up or that preceded the truths. Or you're going to see the end phase, and it's going to help you track back to see where things came. But with the square, it's kind of like you experiencing it. It's like, oh shit, what the fuck is this? Oh, well, where did this energy come from? where did this happen? So you're gonna have to go back to springtime. You're gonna have to go back to Gemini and the first initial impact. You're gonna have to start to communicate. You're gonna have to not just deal with the energy, but you're going to have to communicate and get the information out to see and justify and see where this energy came from and what components make it up. How did the snowball effect build up and get to that aspect if you're wanting to use this energy to its benefit? And it's very powerful. So it's a little T square going on right now. It's probably not going to last too long with the south and north node and Jupiter and Pisces, kind of creating this friction, this awakening of your spiritual path. It's kind of a low, you experience a belief, and then it may not even just be your subconscious mind. It may be somebody else's subconscious mind, and then you see and experience what they had believed, the imagination and things that they had put. Then you started seeing, oh, this person needs a straitjacket. This nigga's crazy. This nigga's really been thinking of. Why didn't I communicate? Now I'm in this situation where I have to deal with this energy when I should have communicated how I had felt. Then I would be more in line with my spiritual path, the North Node, and God's way of doing things, and not be in this flunked out situation with this straitjacket ass person. I don't have a straitjacket to give the nigga. You would be in those type of situations. And then when Jupiter squaring the South Node in Sagittarius, it's going to create friction with our comfortabilities and or like a skill or talent and that you would have on the flip side. So us experiencing the mist and going through all of that with the South Node represents our past, our comforts and stuff like that. It's going to kind of because we're trying to go through the experiences, or we're comfortable with giving the faith and going through the experiences, but maybe not as sensitive to understand the feelings and emotions and the weight of the things afterwards. The more active side of Jupiter is what we're more comfortable with. So it'll kind of be like a jar when you're experiencing it, when Jupiter goes into Pisces, and just like what I was talking about, when we've been exhausting this Jupiter and Sagittarius energy for a while. So when throughout that square, when Jupiter is in Pisces but it's experiencing that square with the South Node in Sagittarius, it's like just creating, you kind of want to jump into the experience. It's easier to get tangled up into that illusion because you had wanted to jump in. You're comfortable with giving your belief to things. You're comfortable with jumping into the experience and learning through the experience, and that's the familiarity when the experience right now is the subconscious mind. So yeah, you're not gonna understand until you jump into it, but you can experience some bullshit. So that's why you kind of need that detector, that insight. If it's not coming from you, if you're not placing your faith, belief, and spirituality in you, and you're extending that outside of yourself, you have to use yourself as a verification system. Once you start going, does that resonate with me? Does that resonate with the meaning and reasonings that my experience have built up so far, and expand within that aspect? But when you're not doing that assessment part and there's that eagerness to go and jump into these experience, you start expanding, and now there's more into your subconscious. Now that you're experiencing more energy than you had previously wanted, because you kind of signed up for it. It's an area that you were comfortable with, and you kind of digged yourself a rut. So it's kind of going to create a frustration like that. Maybe you wanted to use the Jupiter energy to experience, direct your faith into a different type of creativity, or you had different types of imaginations, you had different types of dreams and beliefs, but you're kind of forced into a certain type of belief, or kind of forced into a certain way of thinking and adjusting your imagination and how you picture things, and because the energy and influence that you're going through within your subconscious mind had shifted. Now it changed or influenced where you were giving your faith to with Jupiter. With the South Node and Sagittarius. So that's Jupiter and Pisces square going into that T square with the nodes. And then another alignment that is going on is Jupiter in Pisces, sextile Uranus and Taurus. So this is wisdom gained through experiencing other people's emotions and beliefs, creating an opportunity to unconventionally change and progress what is stable and what has value. So with us experiencing the subconscious mind and that sextile going on, that we will be hit with, when is it? February 16th. Um, with Jupiter coming into an exact sextile with Uranus and Taurus, it's going to help us kind of push things forward. With Uranus and Taurus, it's been making change in what value is. Since your Uranus went into Taurus, the things that used to have value no longer have value, and that's something value, and the products that we are being exposed to is under rapid development, new things coming out, so we're not necessarily too sure where things are going. If Taurus represents your financial structure and stuff like that, and Uranus is change and instability, look at the conversation on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, and the uncertainty of that, of the uncertainty of the current monetary system that we are under, using cash and debit systems, and all of that, the uncertainty of where things are going, where things are going, going to progress into, is evident of that Jupiterian, I mean that Uranian influence being had on Taurus, our values, our self-worth, what we see as value, our financial structures, the products that we produce and consume. That's Taurus. So with Jupiter and Pisces, when we're experiencing this mist, when we're experiencing the subconscious of everybody, it's going to let you into the hidden details of things, into kind of, and the energy of things. So you'll kind of start to see where things are starting to progress, which areas are more stable than others. Before, you probably weren't able to necessarily have that intuitive sense, being connected to your subconscious mind, but now you do. Or now you're more connected to your past experiences, and now you have wisdom and knowledge of what has value, and how that has played out through it. You already done past Jupiter and Taurus, so you already experienced expanding into that area, but now you're in Pisces, so you already kind of, and that's why it creates an opportunity. So with the sextile, a sextile creates an opportunity. So with Jupiter and Pisces, this boost of imagination, and you having access to the subconscious mind of you and those around you, is going to understand where value is progressing to, what people, how the changes in value are going on, and how to influence and jump on the wave of this Uranian, this change of value, by using your creative abilities. So when you're tapped into that and you're starting to see how things value is changing, and how it's susceptible to change, it's progressing forward, there's new ideas, that's the prime time for you to exercise your creativity, your prime time for you to start envisioning a new world, because the world is under construction, to visualize and create a new product, because the products and the industry is under construction. So a new way, a new order of doing things, a new tradition, a new thing to be stable, new ground to set on, new platforms. That's something that you can expect, to come about with that energy. And aren't we seeing that? Are we seeing that going on? For sure. And with Jupiter in Pisces, we're going to be putting our creativity into that and have that more awareness of our subconscious beliefs. But then also going to lead to a lot of that. On the other side, if people are giving their faith to their beliefs and don't have the wisdom and knowledge and backup that's going on, and they're get locked into the mist, and they're not going out and reaching into the mist, into the subconscious mind, into the feelings and emotions, to see what is tangible, to see if it takes shape and form into an actual thing, if it just floats in and stays mist. People who are afraid of doing that will probably fall victim and give belief to, and not be on the wave of the new values, not be on the wave, or and have any self-worth later on. There are going to be people who are going to be behind, who aren't stable, people who aren't using their creativity. And this is facts. Businesses that don't get creative right now are going to go under. If you don't come up and be open to the subconscious mind right now, and using your imagination, how everybody feels, and the feelings and emotions, and how you can expand within it to your benefit, you're gonna have to find new, imaginative, and creative ways to deal with that subconscious energy so you can expand your business, aka find different ways of doing business, different ways of structuring things, so that you don't get left behind with this Uranus and Taurus thing. So this transit's going to help you. This transit's going to help you expand. And if you stay spiritually in tune, and you don't get flunked out, and give your beliefs exterior and outside yourself, and make sure that all of your wisdom is grounded in your experiences, and things that you have lived by, and yet you still open yourself up to new experiences, then you're gooch. Jupiter in Pisces is going to conjunct the Sun on March 4th. So this is expanding your identity and taking action on the collective emotions of others. The Sun and Jupiter are the two ways we see, the two ways of seeing, representing those lights, and how we present ourselves, and how the Jupiter rules the mutable fire element sign Sagittarius. The Sun rules Leo. The Sun's exalted in Aries. So the wisdom and meaning you have extracted from your experiences will be what allows you to be honest and detailed when you are under Pisces irrational influence. So when you have Jupiter in Pisces and the Sun in Pisces, you're going to be seeing the subconscious and the energy of people, and that you're going to be taking action upon these things. So the conversations you're going to have is going to be about people's beliefs. When you go to work and shit like that, even if it's doesn't necessarily, even if it's flipping burgers, you're going to have to see the beliefs of people manifest, even if you're fucking flipping burgers in the back, you're going to be seeing it in some type of aspect, because that's where the Sun is. And when it's conjunct with the Sun, we're going to be maybe attaching our identities with the wisdom and knowledge that we have come into. And if you have been experiencing some bullshit, you're going to become bullshit. You're going to become the bullshit that you have been believing and experiencing. If you have been open with your experiences and have really allowed yourself to open up and have given faith to things that were true to you, because you jumped through those experiences and had wisdom, meaning, and knowledge from them, and from that have deduced and understand your character and what is honest to you, and you and don't give your faith outside of yourself without using yourself as a verification system, then you're gonna turn into bullshit. You're gonna be the bullshit that you believe. And that's how people are going to see you. You're going to seem irrational. You're going to seem unbelieving, even though this is what you believe, and you still think you're in the right. When the words come out of your mouth, you're gonna see, you're gonna feel self-righteous. You're gonna be like, oh, why does that? This is true. This is what I believe. Why does that sound self-righteous? Because it is fucking self-righteous. Why does it sound like I'm just regurgitating information? Because you are just fucking regurgitating information. Why does it sound like because you're gonna, it's gonna be like that, and you're gonna kind of start seeing your phoniness, or kind of be confronted with your phoniness, if you have been planting those seeds. If you haven't, if you have been expanding your faith and using your imagination for yourself, and you have gone throughout this transit and have been honest with yourself, and been optimistic in the opportunities that you seek, and when you expand into the subconscious mind, you are looking to gain wisdom and knowledge to help use for yourself. You know, you're just trying to extract meaning and reasoning some for yourself, and not based off of other people's experiences or other people's wisdom and knowledge, then you are going to become that truth. Your beliefs that you have accumulated and believed, the talents and creative aspects that you have been giving your time into to express yourself, you will become these things. You will be known for these things. The feelings and emotions that you have, and the state of beings that you are in, the things that you give your faith to, these are going to be on the surface for everybody to see March 4th. And you're going to have to mitigate that energy. And that kind of sounds like you having to shine, you're shining your light on your beliefs. And if you're flunked out, light is just going to shine right through you, or the light is going to kind of expose. People are going to be taking action upon these collective emotions. So if your beliefs aren't solid, aren't grounded in, you're not using your imagination, you're not balancing on that axis, that Pisces axis point that it shares with Virgo, and you're not making sense and not being grounded in reality, once people start taking actions on these beliefs, you're going to start seeing the myths and things that you thought were grounded in reality, poof, 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 start disappearing in front of you. And then you can't give your faith to these things anymore. They don't exist anymore. So now it's what are you going to do? You need a straitjacket, or you're trying to hold on to dead bodies and things that don't exist, and hold on to getting lost into the past. And this is a terrible state of being to be in, holding on to the past, trying to cling into things, having things taken away from you. That is not the mindset and state of being that a righteous person acts in, or that where righteous actions get taken. That's the state of being where you get taken advantage of, where you fall victim to things. When you're optimistic, when you're thinking of the best case scenario, and when you're believing in yourself and acting and using your full capabilities, and believing in yourself helps you unlock your full capabilities. Or else, when you don't believe in yourself, you don't even fucking try. When you believe in yourself, you try your hardest because you actually believe that you can do it. So that's kind of what you're gonna have to become your beliefs. So if you believe into some bullshit, that's what you is gonna be. And then we have Jupiter conjunct Neptune in Pisces coming up on April 13th. So this is expanding wisdom of how to creatively use our spirituality. So going through experiences that show you whether your beliefs in spiritual energy is backed by wisdom and meaning. So that's kind of the culmination of what I was saying, and taking the series of events of how that plays out, how the sun comes and action gets taken on these things. And then that's whole Pisces season where that kind of gets dragged on, and then Jupiter moves on to conjuncting with Neptune. Now you're going to that's like going if you watch Naruto, that's sitting on the motherfucking waterfall and then seeing the other side of yourself, man. That's literally what's going on. That's you seeing your alter ego, your dark side, your evil twin coming out and showing you yourself. And it doesn't even have to be your the bad side, fucking Ichigo fighting a Zanpakuto type shit, or him fighting the Hollow Within type shit. And it doesn't have to necessarily be demonic, but it is the spiritual energy that was in you. It is the spiritual aspects, or the subtle energy that is within you, and what you've been giving your faith into, and you'll come to fully see what that has built into. And it's like if Jupiter in Pisces is, a psychic boost, when you're adding Neptune into it, it's hyperdrive. So when you're coming into, so you best believe it's going to be some fucking supernatural year. It's going to be supernatural as fuck. Looking at these aspects, it's going to be supernatural as fuck. What you believe to be real, if you're real, you have to be open and verify through experience, because what you had known to be real, what you had believed to be real, ain't real anymore. And we are in the global subconscious right now, where so much is subjective. Look at the reality we live in. Everything is so subjective and energetic and emotional based, that if you aren't grounded and if you don't have emotional stability, if you don't know how to ride the waves and stay above the current events, then you're gonna get washed out. And that's kind of when Jupiter's kind of, and it's kind of going to like give you like the scepter where you're experiencing all of these things and you're extracting meaning and wisdom from all of these things throughout this whole transit. And then when you come into Neptune, it's kind of like Neptune's giving you the trident now. Neptune's, and then you're coming into the later decans of the transit. Now you're expanding your faith, but you're more so looking to go and experience now. But once you start getting into the further decans, where you furtherly expand to after you already expanded, if you were like initially expanded into some bullshit and you extracted meaning and reasoning from it and you didn't expand into another area and you continued, expanding into some bullshit, then you're gonna have more awareness of that. Or when you get this scepter and you start starting to come into better understanding of the energy and the influence of the beliefs that you were under, um, pushing it in hyperdrive. So yeah, if you're flunked out, you're gonna be like super flunked out and disconnected from reality, and this can manifest as drug abuse, and all that type of shit, abusing sex or any type of escapism, any type of way of getting away from things. That's the type of hyperdrive, the supernatural ability that we will have because niggas is gonna feel that urge to go and drink, smoke, do whatever to distract themselves while this huge psychic boost is going on because it's the escapism. Because part of you understands that if you were to feel the full force and energy of your subconscious mind and of the reality that your beliefs are creating, you wouldn't be able to handle that shit. You wouldn't be able to handle the reality that babies are being sacrificed and that you vicariously making this purchase here or vicariously voting for this person, Hillary Clinton, that you've been contributing to baby sacrifice. And you never signed up for that or did anything, yet that energy is there and your subconscious remembers and it won't forget. So when you experience that and you don't have the knowledge and you're not grounded in reality, you're not honest and open with yourself, it's gonna and you're gonna go. It's gonna knock you the fuck out. So spirit's already like, I don't know. I want progress. I don't want to knock you. I don't want to knock you. You're not ready. Go do some drugs. Go do. That's what you feel. You feel the inkling to go and do that, and you miss the downloads. That's why the beginning phase is so important. That's why that self-assessment of where you're expanding your faith into. Do you not understand that that is your currency? That is how you expand and create your reality? Jupiter was Zeus, the god of Olympus. Come on, that's Thor. So that's your third eye. The chakra that everybody talks about, and nobody wants to talk about Jupiter. Everybody wants to talk about the third eye, but when we're talking about the same thing, that's what it embodies within you. But look how important, or that's all everybody talks about. That's all we ever talking about. So that's why when you have that straightened out, you're able to see the beyond. You're able to see the behind the scenes, the in depth, the inner sight, beyond the light that is presented and the light that remains, or the light that is around. That type of thing. The finer light that exists on a different frequency, you start becoming in tune with that, and it takes shape and forms interior. It's your inner imagery and stuff like that, and how you see things. And if you're flunked out, this will tear you apart. So, and then you have Jupiter and Pisces sextiling Pluto and Cap. May 2nd. So this is type of energy that can use out the flunkness of people giving their faith to certain beliefs to create opportunities for the transformation in our societal structure and how things are run, how businesses run, and how people are managed on a large scale. You can see how that flunked outness would give all the power of that transformation to the people are outsourcing their faith to, instead of sourcing their faith to themselves. using their imagination and creativity and belief and expanding their own enterprises and not other people's enterprises, then they would see opportunities of their ability to change the structure of society, aka this is Elon Musk or inventors or creatives of that sort, using their imagination and their belief and their creative output and the belief that they can imagine things and bring it into fruition because they have been aware and experienced the Jupiter through Pisces, and then they had the experience and drawn wisdom and meaning and knowledge. So when they're making an imagination and when they're using their creativity, it's grounded in reality. It's grounded in the experiences that they had extracted, unless they were experiencing some bullshit. Unless they were diving into some bullshit. Then they're not even touching the mist. But then it's not gonna have any power, and you're not gonna have any opportunities. But if you're, if it suits the purpose of another aspect, or if somebody seems to gain from you moving into that mist and being lost into that mist and thinking that that is real, then you are giving your faith to their idea of transforming societal structure and not using it for yourself. So you're gonna have to start being inventive and creative, and you giving your faith to your spirituality, expanding your wisdom and knowledge of your subconscious mind, and learning how to mitigate these things within it, and manage how you expand what goes into your subconscious mind, and manage what you experience and what you give your emotions and feelings to, is going to create the opportunity for you to actually have power, actually have sway in how society transforms. You're going to be adaptable within whatever new structure takes in place, or within the structure that you are building for yourself. But you're going to need that openness. You're going to need to trust yourself, and you're going to need to be open to having the experiences that you need to have. You're going to have to be open to changing your state of being to suit the situation. And that fluid nature of Pisces coming into play, if you want to be on the positive side of that energy. So that's the major aspects that the transit is going to go through. And I think the transit ends on May 10th, but then it comes back into Pisces maybe around October 28th, but then it leaves again in December 20th. But those are the major alignments that are going on. So December 20th is the official end of Jupiter being in Pisces. And then on the 10th, it kind of leaves Pisces, goes into Aries, and we get to experience that a little bit. And that's the birth of the imagination that we have been built. So while we're getting pummeled in the beginning of this year, it's progress, where it's bare expansion. After Jupiter is just coming into retrograde, coming out of retrograde, and it's going forward, it's non-stop, and it's catching up with all of these planets, or not catching up, but it's touching all of these planets, making it big, a huge expansion in what we're going to give birth to. And then once it goes into Aries, and it's crazy because Chiron's in Aries, so once it goes into Aries, where we're going to have to heal from all of that expansion, we're going to have to heal the individual. That's what we're going to understand through experiencing the subconscious mind. I'm telling you what the experiences that you're going through now through astrology, or I guess I'm fucking Nostradamus, or just learn how to read the stars, that you're going to, through the experience of the subconscious, and us experiencing the subconscious through this Jupiter transit, and it passes into Aries and passes into Chiron, onto Chiron, we're going to experience and gain wisdom and knowledge of that, through experiencing the subconscious mind, that the individual was wounded and that we neglected it, and that is the energy that we need to give our faith to and that we need to heal. That's the end result, if you wanted to know. But now I'll go through all of the houses and kind of detail how this transit is going to affect you personally. So look within your chart to see where you have Pisces, and see where this Jupiter transit is going to hit, because whatever house it's hitting or going through is the area of life you're going to be experiencing the subconscious mind in. It's going to be that area of life that has that creative and intuitive boost throughout this transit, that you're going to be experiencing the subconscious and the feelings and emotions of the people in your environment. So with the first house, um, with this Jupiter in Pisces, is going to be expanding the creativity and fluidity of your personality, what you're personally interested in, and yeah, expanding the creativity in that. So you're gonna be giving faith, and make sure you don't you're not, it's not things that you are not. It's not things that don't have light within them, you know? So it's that first initial feel for you to have and believe in the mist. You kind of have to subconsciously know that it's mist, subconsciously not touch it. But when you're dealing with your personality and your personal interests, these are things that you cannot hide, if you get what I mean. So they're going to be out in front of you for you to experience and to play with. So, but if you're flunked out, or if if you've been experiencing some bullshit and you're holding on to, you're going to be presenting that. You're going to be seen as someone who looks flaky, someone who is given their beliefs or their identity is not their own, you know? It probably wouldn't even seem like you're yourself, that you're highly influential by the people that are around you, and by the experiences that you had. Because you had went through this experience and took in this energy, you think that this is who you are, not knowing that you can be open and going through new experiences. So that's the negative side of that polarity. The positive side is you taking that fluidity and not putting yourself into a box, not making yourself just one thing, but allowing your creative outlet to be your personality, to be who you are, and to gain wisdom and knowledge into that, and to see how it works for you, to see how you can expand creativity into your identity, creativity into personally who you are and how you present yourself into the world without with being grounded into reality, and giving your faith to yourself, you know, and make sure that the faith that's representing you and your comes from you, and it's not subconsciously from external influences or experiences that you can and should rise up from. So that's with the first house. But the second house, fucking yo-yo. But with the second house, that's expanding the emotional value of your possessions and talents. So with Jupiter coming through your second house in Pisces, you are expanding and giving your creative faith into the things that you have physically, into the talents that you have. Maybe in the negative side, this is you have an illusion about the values that you have. You overestimating the value of the things that you currently have, and being lost in illusion, not wanting to touch it, not wanting to take it to the pawn shop to see how much it will be worth. You're overestimating, be like, oh, I can sell this for that, or I can sell this, or I can get this for this, and I'm fine. You know, the illusion of stability, the illusion, all this job would be, I don't have to go and it'll be fine. You know, I don't have to start my own business and, you know, start being self-reliant and doing all of this for myself and still not do this, but want to participate in the world and doing all of that type of bullshit. That if on that type of thing, you could be just grabbing at mist, or and things that you need to grab is mist. And that's not good on that negative polarity. On the positive polarity, this is you expanding and giving faith into your talents. So this is you being more creative with your talents, you being more expressive with your talents, being more sensual and aware, more embedding the truer sense of you and your emotions into your talents and your finances, and this would make your possessions have more emotional value, because it has a piece of your subconscious mind. You use your creativity and the feelings, emotions that you had, and your God spark to make this creation that has worth. Whether it be your possessions, whether it be a talent, it's going to be along those lines, and you are expressing or expanding the faith that you have emotionally for these things. But yeah, that's Jupiter going through your second house. In your third house, this is expanding your emotional and intuitive connection to your surroundings, close friends and families, and your early childhood. So this, you could also be experiencing the subconscious buildup of your childhood if you have Jupiter going through the third house, and kind of start to experience or see the energy, the beliefs that you had expanded into and had wisdom and knowledge of, that you had gave meaning to, and where they came from within your childhood. And then you can assess it from its beginning roots and see if that's what something you want to continue to expand, or if that's something that you need to heal and disregard from, or something that set you on a different path, and that you have to reaffirm yourself and to go into that. And then maybe not necessarily just be a childhood situation that you come into that experience of, but a close friend, your surroundings, family members, siblings, things that in your immediate surroundings, that when you start experiencing the subconscious and the emotional energy and the energy that has built up from these experiences being played out in your surroundings, you may not want to be in the same place anymore. You may not want to be around the same people anymore, or be surrounded by the same type of surroundings, and wanting to and don't stop yourself from using that creative energy into your surroundings, and trying to incorporate more of it, and looking at your surroundings as your subconscious mind, and understanding the link between them. Because you're right to see that it's your close friend, your siblings, that is influencing you into this belief. Not to blame them, but to understand where the energy is coming from and how they're influencing you. It's your fault that you're being influenced. Negative or positively, it's your fault. You accepted that energy. And you allowed the situations, places, and things in the life, whether it be even siblings. Nobody told you to grow and to actually become a baby in your mom's stomach. Nobody told you. They just busted a nut. Nobody told you to go and bring your sperm cell ass to the fucking egg and grow into a person. You did that your goddamn self. So you can blame yourself for your siblings. You can blame yourself for your family. You can blame yourself for your situations. Nobody told you to do any of that. So it's your responsibility to expand your creativity into your surroundings. And if you see your subconscious mind playing around in your surroundings, take that initiative and that intuitive information and allow your creativity to flow into creating your surroundings into something that is more authentic, that can help you resolute the energy that is in your subconscious mind. That's the third house. Fourth house, we're experiencing the collective emotions of your home life and comforts, expanding your faith and creativity to your private life and connections. So, and this ties into what I was saying in the beginning of the video, what you have to be careful of if you have Jupiter going through your fourth house, expanding faith into your comfortabilities. Jupiter being in Pisces, of another water sign, just adds to the danger. It just adds to the illusion, because it would broaden the illusion of comfortability. So you may think that you are expanding farther than you actually are. You may think that you're expanding outwards, but that's all mist. And the actual tangible evidence of your expansion is stuck within that box of comfortability. But you believe that your beliefs expand outside of those, but they actually remain within that box. So don't let that mist think mislead you into having beliefs that aren't backed up and that are not verifiable by your experiences. Where you're going to find this the verifiable of experience information of your experiences that is letting you know the positive aspects of your subconscious mind and what you need to better expand into and what you need to stop giving your faith to. It's going to be in your home life, your private life, where you go to when you're comfortable, the people that you talk to when you're comfortable and when you're sad, your family, your home life, your place of comfort, and you're expanding your creativity into here. So allow your place of comfort, your home, your private zone to be as vast as you can imagine, because it's going to broaden your horizons, if you get what I mean. It's going to broaden what you are going to allow yourself to be comfortable in, if you get what I mean. When that's expanding the box. So now you're not expanding the beliefs that are contained within that home life that you associated with it, but that home life itself is being expanded. That perception of comfortability is being expanded, and you're allowing your creativity to expand what you consider comfortable, expand who you consider family, and the places, people, and things. Now you're home. Now you're comfortable in the multiple places, not just your apartment. You could be comfortable in being your auntie's house, at your best friend's house too. And although it may just be one other place, it's another place in this world that you can be into that comfortable, nurturing state of being and feel fulfilled within yourself and not feel drained. And that is valuable. That is valuable as hell. So that's the type of experiences that you're going to be sibling onto, and what you need to be focusing on with the Jupiter and Pisces traveling through your 4th house. Through your 5th house, this is expanding your wisdom and meaning, backing the emotions and beliefs around how you creatively express yourself and find entertainment. Expanding your wisdom and meaning behind backing the emotions and beliefs around how you creatively express yourself and find entertainment. So with the Jupiter and Pisces, you're going to be experiencing the subconscious energy of your entertainments and how the things that you have been entertaining and how they've been building up and stacking it up in your subconscious mind. And have you been sufficiently creatively expressing yourself, or have you been overly indulging into entertainments? This is that type of energy where people can get into the la la land. People get into the shadow artist type thing, where you see an artist, you see a show, you see a movie, you see a song, and you're like, oh, I can do better than that. Nigga, do better. Nigga, go in the studio and spit a 16 and record and mix and master that shit. Buy a camera and shoot the movie. If you can do it better, it will create that type of shadow things. But you're using these imaginations or expanding your using the things that you're entertained into as illusions that are preventing you from fully creatively expressing yourself, or for you stepping into the role, aka you allowing yourself, you're in the mist and being afraid to touch the mist, but you're being entertained by the mist. And you're saying certain things on how, oh, I could push out this light, oh, I could create this, when you're looking at the mist, when you're not when after you touch it and see that it's not there, it's kind of like you're pretending, you're imagining that you're creating these type of things, but you're not actually creating them. That's what you need to be weary of. That you can fall into. You have to take that imaginative aspect and take it and put it into action. You have to see it, bring it into a realm of reality where you can see that imagination and make it vivid within this realm of reality. Take those entertainments and make them a creative expression. Use them to creatively express yourself, for you to get active behind it, for you to use that energy into an avenue, so that energy doesn't make you victim to it. So that's what would be for the Jupiter traveling through the 5th house. The 6th house, expanding your wisdom and meaning, backing the emotions and beliefs around your daily habits, routines, and ways of working. So With Jupiter in Pisces, you're experiencing the subconscious energy and buildup of your daily habits and the routines and your ways of working and how you make things practical. With Jupiter in Pisces, if you have been neglecting your sixth house, if you have been letting your daily routines and habits get out of whack, where you're unhealthy, you're unorganized, you're unable to get things done. When you expand your faith into your creative aspects and you start experiencing the subconscious mind, and you want to make this type of change, or you have the creative inkling to make this type of change, and you want to get rid of this thing that is within your this energetic state of being that's in your subconscious mind, but you neglected the sixth house, your daily routines and your habits, and your working capability that puts you out of commission, and you're unable to fucking do these things. You're unable to bring that image that trying to make this shit focus. Okay, I guess it is focusing. You're unable to make that imagination that you're having work or practical in this realm of reality. But maybe you are, and you're incorporating it on a day-to-day. So maybe on a day-to-day aspect, you're starting to seem flunked out, or you're starting to be very susceptible to change of emotions and influence from other people, letting other people tell you what type of habits and daily habits and routines that you need to be having, giving your belief to other people, and what you should be working on and what's practical within them, and because of their beliefs, because you have a belief that is in there, because you didn't ground yourself in your sixth house and in the Virgo energy. When it came to the time to you believe and direct your creativity, you were vulnerable to somebody else who had checked over that box for them to make sense out of things, that you started giving your faith to them and started manifesting their dreams, started manifesting their rectifying their subconscious mind, or helping them foster more bad juju on their subconscious mind that's gonna fuck them up later. Either way, there's blood on your hands. So expanding the creativity of your daily situations and how you make things practical. So if you weren't able to find practicality in your daily routines and habits, find different creative ways to do that. And you experience your subconscious mind is going to let you know the influences outside that are preventing you from keeping that tight schedule, from doing the daily habits that you're supposed to do, and from working in the way that is most efficient for you. So that's how the transit would be if you're going through the sixth house. Seventh house, expanding your wisdom and meaning, backing the emotions and beliefs around your one-on-one relationships, partnerships. So you're going to be experiencing the subconscious energy of your one-on-one relationships and how you relate to people and how you establish connections with one another, and the relationships that you have. If a relationship or partnership that you have has been impacting you in a negative way subconsciously, that you haven't been taking heed to, that you haven't been aware of, you're going to be aware of it now. And now is your time to, are you going to feed into that delusion, or are you going to expand your faith into other things? But this is what you're going to experience. And it's going to be your relationships that are in the fog that you are going to be looking at and maybe afraid to go and touch to see if it's real, but you have to reach out and touch it. Everybody's house, you have to, wherever the mist is taking action in, you have to go and reach out and touch it and see if it's real. With seventh house, it's going to be in your seventh house, so it's going to be your relationships. You have to go and reach out and touch these things before you give out your faith, before you give out your faith to a belief and imagination and creativity. You have to go out and touch it and see if it's missed and see if it goes up before you give your faith to it. Especially with the seventh house, when we're talking about the Libra energy, and we're talking about Pisces, where Venus is exalted. Pisces being the mist is a trap for Leo. For Libra, because Libra wants the benefit. It wants to extend out the hand. So as Pisces is putting up this mirage of something that is beneficial, of something that is friendly, Libra reaches his hand out, and it falls for it. And on the other side of the mist is a cliff, and you didn't fucking see it because you're so fucking blinded by the mist, and now you're falling over off of genuine intent, but it's reckless and it led to your demise. So don't be on that type of energy, and understand that where your susceptibility lies, and trying to add strength and reinforcement within those areas. So reach out and grab your relationships. Look at your relationships as a canvas for you to be creative with, to experience your subconscious mind and attributes, and for you to accentuate the positive things, for you to be more creative in your relationship, so that the energy that builds up within your subconscious mind isn't as detriment. You're gonna have to find new creative ways of starting relationships, starting conversations, and managing your relationships, of you getting into partnerships, being expanding your faith into and making sure that there is that belief there, and there is that faith aspect, that you can be open and allow that trust, and allow that imaginative energy allow to come through into those relationships, or you're just gonna run into trouble. Or so you're not gonna, or your relationship is gonna hold you back. It's gonna prevent you from seeing the honest meaning and reasonings that you derived, and allow your relationships to sway the meaning and reasonings that you have, and make you be influenced by the people that you have partnerships with, into believing into something that isn't real, or something that isn't true to you, or isn't real for you. And that's with the sixth house. That's with the seventh house. With the eighth house now, expanding your wisdom and meaning, backing the emotions and beliefs around your desires, secrets, and insecurities. So you're experiencing the subconscious build-up energy within you and your surroundings, of the things that you are hiding, of your secrets, of your desires, the passions, the things that you hold deep within you, and the insecurities, the things that you don't want people to look at, the things that you don't want people to see. You're experiencing the energetic effect of these things, and because of it, you're gonna be experiencing things that you're gonna need to transform. So if you have this going through your eighth house, you're going to be experiencing and expanding your faith into things that may need transformation, things that are your desires. If there's desires there, then you're going to be expanding your belief into how you're going, and creative outlet on how you're going to make this desire come into fruition. You're going to establish a belief, give your faith to a belief that you believe is going to lead you to fulfilling this type of desire, and hold that belief up to those desires, those deep desires that you hold down within you, and use that to assess if it is going to fulfill these desires. And if it doesn't, and those things ring so true to you, and that's your eighth house, then and if those ring true to those desires, then I don't know about that imagination. You should go and reach that out, and may be missed, may not be real when you go and reach that shit out. And then it's also your insecurities. So you may be versatile or susceptible to that energy of letting other people influence what your desires are, or what your insecurities are, or what you or influence you on what secrets that you need to have, or force you to keep things hidden that you want to express, desires that you want to show out, and the influence of others are making you feel insecure. You are expanding your faith into things that aren't real. Go out and touch that existence. Go out and touch those influences, and you start to see that it poofs up, that it's nothing, that their beliefs don't weigh shit to yours within your realm of reality. Because when you reached out and you went to go and touched it, it poofed. It disappeared. So you have to be allowing your own creativity, your own belief structure, using your own, giving faith to your own idea of creativity and imagination, and using them to bring your desires into fruition, and eradicating your insecurities. Um, yeah, that's what it would be like with your eighth house, with this transit going through your eighth house. With your ninth house, you're expanding your wisdom and meaning back in the emotions and beliefs around your experiences, morals, and spiritual systems. So Jupiter goes through your ninth house, and this is like ninth house. We're dealing with higher learning too. Ninth house we're dealing with higher learning. So if you have this going through your ninth house, then you are learning how you're having a higher learning experience of intuitiveness, of how to perceive energy, of how to intuitively tap into the pool of water we collectively are in together, and assessing the ripples that are set off by events, people, and people. Those type of aspects, that's what you're kind of learning into. That's what you're stepping into and experiencing, what you're developing morals and wisdom on. How, what people believe and how people direct their faith. You're going to be experiencing that. You're going to be learning about that and developing morals around that, developing beliefs as you're seeing everybody being flunked out or everybody experiencing their subconscious mind, and whether they're ready to experience their subconscious mind or they're letting the illusions that rest in there play out and pretend to be real while disconnecting themselves from reality and diving into that escapism. You're going to be using that knowledge. You're going to be seeing all of that, experiencing it, and it's going to tie into your higher learning. It's going to tie into the knowledge that you are supposed to ascend into, the knowledge that is helping the highest version of yourself. With your ninth house, the experiences that are helping you define the moral system that's going to prevent you from you as you're seeing people getting flunked out and falling for the illusions, like watching like, damn nigga, just reach out and touch that. Just reach out. So you start developing a moral system where you understand that, okay, I'm always gonna reach out and touch that, or I'm so you don't fall into the same situation that you had experienced other people fall into, or you yourself had experienced. But then you have used that wisdom and knowledge and experience and then developed that moral system for you to not go through that experience again. So that's the ninth house. Yeah, 10th house. We're talking about expanding your wisdom and meaning back in the emotions and beliefs around your reputation, career, and public life. So you're experiencing the subconscious energy of your public life, of your reputation, of your image, and the beliefs, expanding the beliefs that you have around your public life, your career, and your reputation. So this can be dangerous because you think that and you're expanding, you're starting practicality, you're making a good deal that is not, that seems too good because you're not reaching out and touching it, but you're giving your faith to a belief or an illusion based off of the influence of the subconscious mind that we're exposed to during this transit, which ain't safe. That ain't good for business. That ain't good for establishing stability. You also may be misinterpreting how people perceive you or the role that you play on a larger scale. If you have this traveling through your 10th house, how people perceive you. You may be thinking people perceive you in one way when they perceive you in a completely different light. And that's affecting how you expand your beliefs in your 10th house, in your career, because you're expanding beliefs that don't stand up, that when you go out and touch, those reputations don't exist, and now you have a career of illusions. Now your career, what you're basing off of is flimsy and fluid and is all emotional based, and when you need to make better decisions, that hard-hitting decisions, you're more susceptible to influences from other people and to the subconscious mind of other things. That's not good for building a stable reputation either. It maybe makes you seem flaky or like you're not consistent. So those are also things that you're going to have to be dealing with. On the positive side, you can be using that energy to expanding your faith, your belief and creativity into your reputation by allowing yourself to be more imaginative, be more creative with how you present yourself, with how you go about your career, with how you present yourself into the public world, allowing more of your subconscious self to take shape and form on the surface for people to see, and understanding the meaning and what's behind the scene of things so that they can have more So they can be more integrity. They can feel more safe. They can feel more secure and giving you the reputation that you desire, or giving you, or letting you play the role that you want to play, because you had found a new creative way to do it, and you expanded your belief into that, and you used the experience of experiencing your subconscious mind and the mind of other people to see which and use your creativity to see how you can mitigate this energy best in order to have the best reputation, have an orderly career, and for things to be practical, and for you to have a stable public life, for you to have respect, for there to be integrity. You can't be all flunked out or claiming on imaginary things and demand respect. So you have to really hold that up and understand your subconscious mind and the influences that are going out and play before you start making decisions. Capricorn's dry as fuck. And Pisces all wet. It's all wet coochie. And Capricorn's dry as fuck. So doesn't necessarily work when you include too much emotions into it. But when you allow those emotions, when you put them in the right place and allow water to play the role of water and earth to play the role of earth, you start to see that they actually coincide, that they don't contrast with one another, and that they actually lead to one another. So that's the 10th house. Going into fucking 11th house. We're expanding your wisdom and meaning, backing the emotions and beliefs around your social life and information network groups and associations. So it's kind of like the Jupiter and Aquarius energy that I was talking about. But you're experiencing the subconscious effects of your social group, of the friends that you hang around with, and of the information networks that you get information of, and how they are shaping your beliefs, and how they are shaping what you believe and how you get your information. And this is an area where you need to start being creative in, or you start to seeing being intuitive in, because if you have people in these areas of life, these information networks that are passing you, that are where they're the source of certain emotions that you are feeling, you're going to have to either stay away from them or find new creative ways to direct that energy into something that is more positive. And since it's the 11th house, we're talking about Aquarius too, allow it to be distant, allow them to have their own beliefs, allow them to have their own information, and you be in full control of what friend groups, what information that you dive in, what connections you allow energetically to have an influence on where you are expanding. Because if you're expanding your faith and belief into certain things, you want the information there to be solid, and for it to make sense for a larger amount of people, and not just in an individual self. You want to make the most out of the relationships that you have, instead of making them go to waste, or imagining them as things that they are not. Having that mist, that illusion, paint your information network as something that is not, making you double beliefs under the guise of humanity, under the guise of being more logical, when it's actually just mist and something that doesn't actually manifest into reality. So you're going to have to be careful of that. But you're going to see through all your friends and your information network, you're just going to see it's going to map out your subconscious mind and the subconscious mind around people, and show you where you're supposed to be directing, what beliefs you want to be directing your faith in, and which best serve you. Now with the 12th house, we are expanding your wisdom and meaning, backing the emotions and beliefs around the subconscious emotions and dreams. So with Jupiter Pisces in your 12th house, you're expanding your faith expanding your faith and creativity into your dreams, into your subconscious mind. So you're really experiencing your subconscious mind with this type of chance. And you have Pisces in there. You're already an Aries ascendant then, probably, and having everything coincide with each other. That is fucking crazy. But with Pisces, with Jupiter in Pisces in the 12th house, you can probably even expect your dreams to be on another level. Your dreams to be highly intuitive. For you to be maybe even a little bit more sleepy. And then you're gonna feel that boost to be sleepier, but it's so that you can dream more and catch some of those prophetic type stuff, or to understand sleep better, to utilize sleep better for a more beneficial purpose for you, or to understand that that is more of intuitive time, or just that mindset, that state of being that you get in when you're falling asleep, that half conscious, half awake state of being, and experiencing that and coming into better reality of that, better understanding and wisdom of that. And with Jupiter and Pisces in the 12th house, you will be experiencing the subconscious energy of your dreams, of the imaginations that you have been having, of the things you've been fantasizing about, you've been imagining about, and how those things have built up over time and has influenced the beliefs that you have now, the things that you are unaware of and how they have influenced in what you believe now. You're kind of going to be all up in that experiences, and you may have that extra boost from your dreams that are showing you that. And also maybe even a little bit more of daydreaming, where reality starts to be seen more lucid, or you're starting to see aspects that you've seen in your dreams in reality. And reality is starting to seem more surreal. Use that as the lesson and see what that surrealness, because that is your subconscious mind projecting that on reality based off of Jupiter being in Pisces, and it heightening that psychic aspect within us. So assess that those blurs and those energies, the surrealness, and it's going to show you your subconscious mind and what you may not be paying attention to, what may be influencing you behind the scenes, but you didn't necessarily know or were giving heed to before. But yeah, that's the 12th house. So that's Jupiter and Pisces for all signs. I'm open book from Truspace, and have a nice day.